as fine as you are, baby, a rumor that you were a man was absurd to me. It was insane.
Well, after having a daughter, my mother had to defend that rumor, for example.
But before the daughter, I knew you were a woman, baby.
I knew that I would be successful. It was never a question of whether or not I would be successful. It was just a matter of time. And it was a striking feeling of, God, I'm blessed. I know I'm going to be famous.
Today we are talking about none other than Donna Summer. She was a disco queen, and I think in a biopic, SZA or maybe Kelly Rowland could play her in a biopic, but SZA gives me the Donna Summer, but a little bit more modern with her own twist, and Kelly Rowland just has the physique that Donna Summer has. You know what I mean? But without further ado, let's jump in. But Donna Summer was an American singer, songwriter, and actress. She gained prominence during the disco era of the 1970s and became known as the Queen of Disco, while her music gained a global following. So Summer earned a total of 42 hit singles on the Billboard Hot 100 in her lifetime, with 14 of those reaching the top 10. The 5-time Grammy winner was a force to be reckoned with throughout her musical career. Although she passed at the young age of 63 is so young, guys, and she passed away in 2012, her legacy lives on through her legendary music that defined an era of counterculture and, of course, extravagance and glamour. So LaDonna Adrienne Gaines was born on December 31st, 1948 in Boston, Massachusetts, to Andrew and Mary Gaines, and was third of 7 children. She was raised in the Boston neighborhood of Mission Hill. Her father was a butcher and her mother was a school teacher.
Adrienne Donna Gaines was born December 31st, 1948 in Boston.
She was born on a Friday, and it was New Year's Eve.
Donna grew up in a home with 5 sisters and her only brother, Richard.
This is the house that we grew up in.
My cousins lived on the first floor. We had a 3-family house, and my other cousins lived on the top floor. There had to be a good 20 kids in the building.
So Donna suffered from childhood depression in her youth, and in her memoir, and Donna wrote, and I quote, "I was always the type of person to dive into things, literally and figuratively, regardless of whether or not I fully knew what I was getting into." This sentiment can be seen throughout the adventures of her life, but it started when she literally jumped into a pool and almost drowned at the age of 8. So her brothers and sisters pulled her out. She had no idea how long she was unconscious, but remembered when she came back to life that she believed that God had saved her and had a special plan for her in her life. With a new sense of purpose, she did pray, and she asked God to please teach me how to sing better. So at the age of 7, she accidentally cut a large gash in her cheek on a kitchen chair her father was repairing, and it left a scar that for her entire childhood made her feel very insecure and ugly. So she wore wigs trying to hide it, and for years she was bullied and teased by her siblings and her neighbors, and this did trigger some more sadness and depression for her. And she also experienced bedwetting and an obsessive need for perfection. She saw a therapist until she was 16 years old. So while Summer laments this time in her life, she also claimed it helped her to develop a sense of humor and a strong desire to prove herself. So Summer's performance debut occurred at church when she was 10 years old, and she was replacing a vocalist who failed to show up. So she attended Boston Jeremiah E. Burke High School, where she performed in school musicals and was considered popular. And in 1967, just weeks before graduation, Donna Summer left for New York City, where she joined the blues rock band Crow. After a record label passed on signing the group, since it was only interested in the band's lead singer, the group agreed to dissolve. So Donna Summer was becoming Donna Summer and was coming more into herself, but not without some little strange happenings. Let's talk about this. So in order to play nightclubs and attend practice, Summer skipped school. One time she witnessed a group of boys attacking an elderly woman, okay? The woman was left unconscious and not even breathing, so she performed CPR on her until an ambulance arrived. Later, Summer learned the woman had died and that the cops were looking for witnesses. Summer was scared to come forward because she thought she'd get in trouble for being a truant, skipping school. Her conscience got the best of her, though, thankfully, and Summer decided to talk to the police. She told an officer the names of the boys and exactly what she saw, and the boys were arrested, and Summer was called to testify in court. And though the boys were found guilty and sent to prison, they had friends who threatened Summer, making her feel unsafe in her own neighborhood. So 3 weeks before graduating high school, she moved with her band to New York to further her career, but also get out of Boston, so she didn't complete that graduation year. So then LaDonna started becoming LaDonna, and she was dropping records. Like, she has hits like She Work Hard for Her Money and then I Feel Love. I want to take a minute to talk about her influence in the industry, because her influence was rather, some would argue, accidental, but some would argue not accidental at all. She actually did curate a certain image for her. But you guys can comment below what your thoughts are on this. So with her influence, we all know that Donna Summer grew up in the church singing gospel music, as many of the stars did. So she grew up in a pretty conservative home where her parents did the best to not have them out late or, getting into trouble and, that certain life. So very sheltered, very protective home.
It was a special program at church, and it was a Sunday.
She was about that tall. You could not see her if you were beyond the third row, but you could hear her.
So the day that I got up to sing, nobody was ready for what came out, neither was I. Because I hadn't sung in a church in an open arena, and I opened my mouth to sing, and this voice just sort of went out, and it was this big voice. And I started crying. Everybody else started crying. At some point, after I heard my voice come out, I felt like God said to me, "Donna, you're going to be very, very famous. You're going to be very famous. This is power, and you are never ever to abuse this power." I just knew from that day on I was going to be famous.
What Donna didn't know was the price she'd have to pay for that fame.
My father was extremely strict, and my mother was very lenient. And I think in some way, the strength of my father is probably more what gave me a sense of direction. He couldn't go to parties. You just grew up knowing, don't even ask. I mean, come on, a party? Daddy's never going to let you go to a party. I was always kind of the exception in the family, only because I was very, I wasn't rebellious against my parents in that sense. I was challenging.
So when she went to Germany and she was living there for some time, y'all know Germany, they got red light district and all of that. She was exposed to some things, and she wrote the song Love to Love You Baby. Now, a lot of you guys ain't had no business listening to that song when y'all did. I was young listening to that song, and I had no business listening to that song, but you know how it is. But in the song, she was basically climaxing in it and singing it in a very sensual voice. Now, that song, she wrote it and wasn't intending to be the one to sing it. She kind of wrote it for somebody else because she used to write music. Like, she was like a ghostwriter for other artists. But the label wanted her version. They like her version. They like how she sung. And there was like, nah, you have to sing this. Like, you have to be the one to sing this. And that's that. Her parents, she never told her parents about it. She never told anyone back home about the song. Now, turns out the song does blow up. It's everywhere. And it's 17 minutes long, which was one of the longest songs that was ever produced, especially during that era, for it to be 17 minutes. And of course, the Christian community was in an uproar about it because, you know, there wasn't any song out there like that before. Like, somebody's literally climaxing on the song or insinuating that that's what's happening, right? And that's what it's talked about. It was like, dare I say, what can I compare it to today? Like WAP. It was like when WAP came out, everybody was like, what? That's kind of what it was. So though it was popular in the secular world, within the gospel community, the Christian community, everybody was kind of like, yeah, this is crazy. And Donna Summer herself started to have some depression surrounded it because she didn't feel like she was herself trying to emulate that or be a sensual symbol. Unfortunately, though that wasn't what she was trying to convey, every time she would get bookings, people would want her to sing that song. And she started to like have a little panic attack about it. Like, this is not, you know, how I want it to be portrayed, but this is how it goes. And because she spoke like that, a lot of people may question, okay, if that's not how you want to be portrayed, how did that song even come to your mind to write? How did you even get comfortable to, like you say, you're not a sensual person. How did you even get comfortable to be in the studio emulating that and writing that, even if you were writing it for somebody else? So that was kind of the backlash she got from a lot of critics as well, and was like, okay. So there was the argument that, you know, how it usually is with the stories of these artists that blow up and become super popular is that they start off in the church and then they do a drastic change to where they're somebody completely different than what they grew up as. After this song, of course, she got the Hollywood package, as you would quote unquote say, where her success and influence was massive. She was having back to back #1 albums and songs.
I had never intended for that song to be sung by me. I had just done it kind of as a demo. They had told me they had a girl that would sing it. And when I wrote it with Giorgio, I thought somebody else will do it. But they liked my version of it.
I knew how Donna was singing, and the way she sang Love to Love You was not exactly with her normal voice. That wasn't her voice because she can belt the song out.
No one could have guessed what impact a single record was about to have on the entire music industry.
Love to Love You, Baby wasn't only one of the biggest hit singles of the 70s, it was the longest. It was no accident that it turned out to be over 17 minutes.
Sure enough, we put it out in the clubs, and in weeks, it had gone gold.
17 minutes long. I mean, that was unheard of. And it was just an extended sexual trip.
It was a hit, and Donna Summer was, a sex goddess. We called her from the office and we said, are you sexy? And she said, I don't know. Did you ever pose in the nude? No, she said, I'm from a religious family. I wouldn't do that.
All of a sudden, Donna was a huge celebrity, but with a sexy image she hadn't bargained for.
Shocked my shoes off. Growing up with in a Christian background, it was hard, I think, for her because she knew that it was kind of hard on my parents too.
We did hear from the church community. It's too, sensual. It's too sensuous. And I said, Donna really had trouble with this image.
And I didn't take it well. And I don't think he did either, but.
So it was kind of a shock to my system when that whole thing happened.
Finally, I just said, well, it's done.
Finally, Donna Summer's name was up in lights. You could say that with the support of a record company, she had her cake and could eat it too.
Live a lie. I can't do it. I can't live this sex queen thing out. I just can't. It's not me. I almost had a nervous breakdown from it. I was just stressed out completely by the whole thing. I thought that nobody was treating me like a human being. They were all treating me differently. When you become famous, you don't realize what you give up.
She became the first female vocalist to earn 3 #1 hit singles in the same year when Bad Girls, MacArthur Park, and Hot Stuff all topped the charts within an 8-month period.
It was very difficult sometimes to hold on to the reality of myself. I began to become an insomniac and feeling very depressed and going into really heavy depressions, but I didn't tell anyone. And after a while, I sought help and I was placed on a medication. I knew that there was no way for me to continue my life taking medication every day. It wasn't normal. I began to pray and I just started to cry out to God. And I just said, God, I need you. I don't know where I'm going from here. This path is dark. Am I going to die now? Is this the end of my life? Is this where I'm supposed to be? This went on for about 3 weeks, just constant soul searching, crying, begging God help me, because there was no relativity around me. There was no one that knew me. And I just felt God was the only one that really knew me.
Bolstered by devout faith, she lifted herself out of depression.
I felt like a ton of bricks lifted off me. It physically felt like someone had been sitting on me, and all of a sudden, a ton of bricks just was lifted. And I felt light as a feather. I felt fearless. I felt joyful. I felt content. I could sleep. I could laugh.
And then because of her song, the way she influenced the industry at that time and other artists, she kind of opened the door. I wouldn't say it was a soft launch because that's a pretty hard launch to be climaxing in a song. But she kind of launched that, okay, you can produce certain types of songs and test the boundaries a bit. So more and more people were testing the boundaries. And within the psychedelic community, because, it was the hippie psychedelic era, they were calling the song a sensual trip. And I'm filtering my words for YouTube, but it was like a trip that you'd go on sensually. And inside of the clubs and, the psychedelic clubs, a lot of people, while on the dance floor, would be climaxing on the dance floor. Like, people would do that. That's one of the reasons why she stopped performing that song live after a certain time. She moved away from it because the song really would have people act very out of body, like erratic. But a lot of people that would listen to those songs, especially in the club setting, there was already substances involved. So you could maybe say it's the substances. But even in her live concerts, she noticed how the song, the effect that it had on people towards the end of her life, just avoided it in general and would sing other songs. And it was very rare to witness her sing that song. With the influence of Donna Summer, she was very, very influenced, though this generation may not know too well because she's been gone for a minute since she's passed away. So a lot of people may not know how she influenced the industry. And this is where I want to take this channel a bit, is to not just do a deep dive on these artists, but see how they influenced the industry through time and how they made changes globally and why they had so much popularity that we may not even notice. During her era, yes, it was a psychedelic hippie era. Everybody was, but it was still very conservative. There was still, music a music like WAP would not have been popular. They would still censor things. But Donna Summer had the personality of a very conservative, like during interviews, she was very conservatively dressed, had a softer voice, and, kind of articulated things in a way where people kind of just like overlooked the song and then supported her other songs. And then she did go on to sing, as you guys see, many other songs that were deemed empowering, like She Works Hard for the Money, which was a feminist anthem song, which is in many movies like feminist parades or meetings, etc. That is a soundtrack to a lot of these movies and parades and campaigns. It is a very female empowerment type of song. And she sung other songs that she wanted to steer away from the Love to Love You title. Now, we are going to see later on, we'll talk about that, as she tried to step back from the industry, especially when she got cancer, lung cancer, and went back to be a born-again Christian and kind of was just walking away from the industry. But unfortunately, because once she got canceled, she kind of wanted to make things right and not lose sales, especially when you have a lot of people working for you, working under you. You have to make payment for them. So a lot of her views and what she believed, she had to come back and backtrack, and basically was forced to come back into the industry until the last year or so of her life, where she really got sick and didn't want anyone knowing about her illness, and then she just became a recluse and was like, whatever. She did try to do a 180-degree turn away from that lifestyle and spoke against it and spoke remorsefully about the influence that she did have in the industry, especially with the music, especially because of the lifestyle she lived now, and went back to her roots. But comment below, what do you think? And of course, we still see the influence of Donna Summer today. A lot of songs that we have, like, I really see the heavy influence of Donna Summer and someone like SZA. Her influence is still very prevalent, and though nobody has, a lot of people also were copying her method and formula at that time. Like one of the interviewers was saying to her, was men, women, indie artists, people that were coming up that were emulating the song. Well, they'll do a 20-minute song, and people even went as far, guys, this is how crazy this was. People were going as far as, though she just simulated her climaxing, she wasn't quote unquote really climaxing in the song. There were people that went as far as to literally do that on the song. And now there's a whole genre out there. There's a literal genre out there in the PORN industry where they do these type of music like that. That's a genre. So that genre was birthed from this song. And I'm sure no matter what you believe, if you're someone like Donna Summers, it was like, hey, I believe in Jesus, I'm this, that. I'm sure she did not want that to be part of her legacy. But yeah, there is a PORN music industry out here where people really do that. And that really stemmed from this culture that she started. So that's her influence, and a part, unfortunately, of a legacy that she didn't want. And that might be fortunate for some people that don't mind that, but for her, that's where she stood.
What were you doing in Germany?
I was eating Wiener Schnitzels.
I mean, you were born here, weren't you?
Yes, I was born in America, and 8 years ago I went to Germany to play in Hair, and then I just stayed because I liked it.
Can you sing a little bit of that in German? One line.
Ich liebe dich zu lieben.
Sounds good in any language.
Well, we wanted a good backing record for Love to Love You, and it was very hard to make a follow-up record for that. And so we thought we'd just sort of stay in the same vein because people liked erotic music.
You know what you've done? You've caused a whole brand new thing. There are other records on the market that are just blatant copies of your stuff, and all of which would remain nameless at the moment. They come to mind immediately. Some of them done by female vocalists, as a matter of fact. Some of them done by male vocalists.
To put Donna Summer's stardom in perspective, just consider she scored 13 gold record singles. That means they sold 1 million copies each. 2 of those singles went platinum, which represent sales of at least 2 million. 11 of her albums have turned gold. For an album, gold means 500,000 copies sold. And 4 of those albums reached platinum, which is awarded when sales top the 1 million mark. Her song Last Dance for the movie Thank God It's Friday won both a Grammy and an Academy Award.
But let's talk about, sadly, how in the rise of her career, people put out rumors that she was a man because of her features. And this is where a lot of women, Black women specifically, talk about featureism, especially in the specter of YouTube, And you guys saw the clip of Arsenio Hall interview with her when he was basically complimenting her, like, I knew you were a woman, and I love Arsenio Hall for that. It is sad that he had to reassure her, as well as other people, because Donna Summer was very well respected in the industry. And though she spent most of her life in Germany too, and not even in America, and I don't blame her, all the Black community really loved Donna Summer and respected her, but you had a lot of men, Black men, in the industry also, and you have white men that really tried to just break her confidence, and it never broke her confidence. She still remained Donna Summer, kind of like a glamorous Sade or Cher. And Cher a lot of people was inspired by Donna Summer, from Selena, Madonna, Cher, like a lot of these women Donna Summer paved the way for her, okay? It's sad that she had to deal with this because her face, she had the bigger full lips, and I find her facial structure really beautiful. She was one of the most beautiful women, especially in that era. I find the way her nose structure go up with her eyes and her eyebrows is very beautiful in Avatar-esque way. Very beautiful features that you wouldn't normally see like that. So it's very unfortunate the ignorance that she dealt with that time. But this still happened today, like Meg Thee Stallion. A lot of people was calling her a man when Tory allegedly did what he did. People did this to Michelle Obama. Any Black woman that's a little bit taller, that has a little bit more, I don't know what you deem masculine features, but that doesn't have the typical generic, European soft, quote unquote, soft features, was deemed men and masculine. So that rumor went around, and she basically used her pregnancies, her mother and those close around her used her pregnancies and things like that as proof, to the point where a lot of Black women at that time had to prove that they were women. It didn't matter how feminine they were. So that was very upsetting. She had to endure that, and she even had to speak on that, and women alike had to speak on that, and futurism still plagues us today. And I just request that people just stop with the ignorance, okay? Okay. So according to the Globe and Mail, Donna Summer started dating Helmut Summer, who is a Vietnamese actor she met in Berlin while doing hair. The couple rekindled their friendship when they were both cast in the Hamburg production of the Me Nobody Knows. The two went on to perform in other productions together, and when their final tour was over, they went home to Vienna, where Summer asked Donna to marry him. So they married in 1972, and soon after, Donna discovered she was pregnant. In her memoir, she described a morning she was rushed to the hospital by her husband. A doctor told her she was in danger of having a miscarriage, and the couple decided to move to Donna's parents' apartment, where Donna remained on bed rest for the remainder of her pregnancy. And in February 1973, Donna gave birth to her first daughter, Mimi. The year following the birth of her daughter, Donna Summer dived into a deep depression once again, so it just followed her throughout her life. She felt unprepared for motherhood, which is normal feelings that mothers go through. Her husband worked a lot, so he wasn't home, and he was leaving her home alone to care for the child a lot of the times, so she felt a little neglected. She didn't go out or sing anymore. In her memoir, she said she felt isolated, and Donna turned to a friend she only refers to in her book as Anna. Anna taught her to bathe Mimi and how to get her to sleep. And through Anna, Summer met a man she only refers to as Gunther. Gunther was a painter and what Summer described as a wild man, so she was attracted to him instantly. And desperate to move out of her depressed state, Donna and Helmut temporarily separated. So Summer then moved in with Anna and often saw Gunther. And Gunther, being a married man, also, okay, Donna, confided in Summer and she with him. So after many long talks combined with many glasses of wine, the two crossed over from friends to lovers. As reported by the ABC News, her husband, who she was separated from, learned of the affair and confronted Donna. They made their separation official and divorced. Donna kept Helmut's last name Sommer, but changed it to Summer because his name was Sommer, so she changed it to Summer. So Donna Summer knew Gunther could be violent and angry when he, was under the influence. That's the guy that she's cheating with, Gunther, that, was having an affair with. He apparently had a drinking problem, so he wasn't any better. So she tried to keep her distance, but had come to rely on him for emotional support in her career and motherhood. And according to her memoir, when she tried to leave him, he kicked in her bathroom door, slapped her, and threw her into a glass cabinet. Her skin and hair was covered in shards. She knew she would break up with him, but was afraid to be alone, and this plagues women a lot. Summer continued dating Gunther for years, even after becoming an international success. In 1997, Summer met Brooklyn dream singer Bruce Sudano, which would become her final husband. And while living in Los Angeles, they were drawn to each other. But like her, he was also in a committed relationship. So she was with Gunther. It looked like Donna Summers. I love you, girl. But she didn't know how to end one before she jumped into a new one. So after going out with Sudano and his band, Gunther asked Summer where she'd been, of course. She said, before I could say anything, he grabbed me, threw me up against the wall, and proceeded to slap me around. She went on to say he threw me into the laundry room where he continued to hit on her. I fell into a heap and Gunther disappeared. After a moment, he returned with a pistol in his hands. He was ready to take her life. He just had a feeling, I guess. Gunther was charged and was deported. So Summer said, battered, bruised, and beaten nearly to death, I realized that God had come to my rescue yet again. She took time to heal and waited for Sudano to break up with his girlfriend. In 1978, Summer showed up at Sudano's doorsteps and shot her shot, honey, and she confessed her love to him. The two married on July 16th, 1980.
Donna Summer had fallen in love. Donna and writer-musician Bruce Sudano were married in the summer of 1980. Donna and Bruce have two daughters, Brooklyn and Amanda Grace. Her daughter, Mimi, from her first marriage, also lived with them.
So in 1976, while living at the Navarro Hotel in New York City, Donna Summer thought about how the world was caving in on her. And between the men in her life at the time, Gunther and Summer, and her career obligations, Summer felt she had no power over her own life. She walked to the hotel's window and put her leg on the sill. It got caught in the drapes just as a maid walked in. In an interview with Mary Hart, Summer said this disruption helped her to snap out of it. Within 24 hours, Summer did see a therapist. So I love her relationship with therapists as well. And that's a lesson we can learn from her life story. Don't be afraid to go to a therapist. And the therapist helped her to understand that the culture shock of moving from one continent to another was enough stress for anyone. She was put on medication to help her focus, but it made it hard for her to sleep. So she decided what she really needed was to work on her relationship with God. And soon after, she became a born-again Christian. The gay club scene was coming of age just as Donna Summer's star was rising. Her openly erotic and easy to dance to music became iconic in the community. And when her career declined in the early 80s, just as disco started to die, her gay fans remained her most loyal fans. Jim Feldman, writer for The Village Voice, wrote a review of Summer's comeback concert in Atlantic City in 1983. Where he alleged that she said, and it turned out to be a lie, he alleged that she said, and I quote, "It's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. I've seen the evil homo, come out of you people. AIDS is the result of your sins. Now, don't get me wrong, God loves you, but not the way you are now." End quote. She denied the comments and tearfully lamented her loss of friends to the AIDS epidemic. She said many people she worked with in the music business were gay, and she would never make those kinds of remarks. But people wouldn't believe her until it was too late.
In the early 1990s, Donna found herself embroiled in a serious lawsuit.
This is Donna Summer.
The issue stemmed from quotes attributed to a music insider that were published in New York Magazine.
The magazine stated that I said homosexuals were sinners and AIDS was a divine ruling. That is completely false. I did not say it. I do not believe that.
The Huffington Post states that her 1989 performance at Boston Pride Parade was protested by the AIDS activist organization ACT UP. She sent them a letter asking them to forgive her. She claims it took her so long to respond to the accusation because she gave birth to her other 2 daughters. So she'd just given birth when these rumors came out and was busy with life. Her connection to the community has been tainted since, with some choosing to forgive her and others not. And on May 17, 2012, Donna Summer died at home in Naples, Florida at age 63 from lung cancer.
We are celebrating the life of a music legend this morning. Yes, Donna Summer, the queen of disco. She died Thursday at the age of 63 after a battle with lung cancer.
But while she flourished amid the beats-permitted hedonism of the Studio 54 era, Donna Summer wasn't known as a bad girl, inspired by gospel great Mahalia Jackson.
Music is the one thing that gets inside your body and you can't get it out.
And became a born-again Christian. Comments she was alleged to have made about AIDS sparked a schism with her many fans in the gay community before she patched it up in 1989.
According to Rolling Stone, no one knew she had cancer except for her immediate family and few close friends. She said she wanted to keep it hidden, so she lived as a recluse the year before. Chemotherapy made her lose a lot of weight, and if anybody saw her, it would be obvious she was sick. In the LA Times, Rachel Schwartz from the Lung Cancer Foundation of America said it was typical for people with lung cancer to shy away from telling others because of the stigma of smoking. People reported that her family wanted to make it clear her cancer was not due to smoking. While alive, Summer told people it was caused by the asbestos in the air from the fall of the Twin Towers on 9/11. Instead of taking Summer and her family at their word, though, many have openly debated whether or not she got cancer from asbestos or smoking. And according to Ammo Mama, it was even in an episode of Autopsy, The Last Hours of, a show where the cause of death is explored. The host, Dr. Michael Hunter, stated while it is likely she was exposed to debris following the attack, it was not likely she would have gotten cancer from it. Many believed it was from smoking when she was younger and singing in smoke-filled clubs. Also, lung cancer ran in her family, taking the life of both her mother and younger sister. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame states at the 2013 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony, Donna Summer was inducted by Kelly Rowland, who I've been saying should play her, singer of Destiny's Child. You all know who Kelly Rowland is. She was recognized as an inspiration for Madonna, Beyonce, and the entire EDM movement. The Hall of Fame went on to say she was no producer's puppet, but a collaborator, writer, and innovative artist in her own right. Summer worried her talents wouldn't be fully recognized until after she died, that people would put her in a box as a sex symbol and a mere relic of the disco era. And sadly, she was right. She did deserve better. Her death didn't get the same recognition Prince or Michael or Whitney or any of these people got, when she was by far one of the most renowned artists, especially black artists, blacks excellent of that time. And I do sadly believe it was because of those lies and rumors about what she said about the LGBTQ community. And we know when the LGBTQ community cancels you, you're canceled for good, honey. So she couldn't even get her just due in the end, even though most people now recognize and realize those were lies and she never said those. So it's very unfortunate, but comment below who else you guys would like to see. I love you guys. Until next time.